Oh, Apple technology. How's everybody doing? It's Monday night. Hello, hello. My name is William, and this cord is in the way. And this is. Yikes. And this is my so called life. Echo, echo. Whoops. I hope everyone's having a great evening. I have quite a few things planned. I have an impromptu sewing machine that I found this afternoon on a fruitful mission. Welcome to my so-called life. Awesome. Awesome. I have quite a few things I want to do tonight, but there's one thing I want to remind you. I don't know if you live in America, in the United States of America, right now, it's Girl Scout cookie season. This is your friendly reminder. My name is William. This is my so-called life, and I am all over the place. Today, I went to my local Goodwill and found a beautiful J.C. Penney sewing machine. You know what's funny? A couple of weeks ago, I I tried, and you know what's so funny? I told myself this year I'm gonna stop buying modern machines. I'm like 0 for 3 or 4. I'm like 0 for 5. But that's okay. My crazy love for sewing machines, it just makes for great live streams. Like I said earlier, if you live in America, in the United States of America, it's Girl Scout cookie season right now. I purchased this beautiful J.C. Penney sewing machine, and you know what? It brought me back. It brought me back to a different time. I grew up in the era of department stores. I worked at a place called Robinson's May a long time ago. So when I see things like this, they're just relics of the past and things that I love taking apart. But this machine, it still needs a little bit of love, but it's still fired up. And well, it's upside down, but oh, you really can't say it. See it. I paid $12. Well, it was $12.99, and our Goodwills, they do not charge you tax because they're making money hand over fist for everybody. Also, this evening I will be making a mystery coat. I'm gonna go pull out the templates and everything for that in a minute. And let me find my plug. Here it is. I knew it was somewhere close, but this particular machine, I'm actually really glad I found it for the price that I found. I was really shocked because my local thrift stores are actually really overpriced. And they come with these crazy just they're insanely overpriced. So when I saw this for under $15, I was kind of like, are you kidding me? I couldn't believe it. But I guarantee, this definitely is a Japanese clone. But before I get to that, there we go. Let me find the plug for this. I hope everybody's having a great evening. Before I get to any more shenanigans, let me remind everybody where this program is for entertainment purposes only, and its content is not intended to malign any religion, race, company, individual, or wigs. All opinions expressed by my so-called life and program participants are solely their personal views and do not reflect the opinions of every single human being on planet Earth. I hope everybody has a great evening. And here at my so-called life, we have bread, circuses, and Girl Scout cookies. I'm excited. This time of year, it's so sad. People look forward to the Super Bowl. They're looking forward to all kinds of things. And I'm like, I'm going to go spend $60 on Girl Scout cookies. All right, so let me plug this in. Beautiful. Also, I have my shapes cut and everything. I really don't want to say what it is, but for anyone who knows me, they probably are gonna guess what I'm gonna be making this evening. Couldn't help myself, but it fired right up. It still needs a little bit more oil. I oiled it up, but I was really surprised at the condition that it's in, and for the age that it is. And as you can see, it still lights up, and the stitch selector still works, which after all these years is kind of crazy. And that blinked out of exact. Oh, there we go. I just didn't see it. Earlier, I kept clicking and the light turned off, and I'm like, oh, that's definitely a defect. But this thing fired right up. I'm stoked. But let's thread it and see what happens. I'm just now noticing it doesn't have a bobbin case, but where can I get a bobbin case? Bam! Keep the party going. I have one right here. Okay. So I'm just gonna really quickly try to thread this and see what condition it's in and what help it really needs. I was stoked. The second I saw JCPenney's, it made me laugh because, like I said, it brought me back to a different era. Hey, hello. Where is... Oh, I have thread all over the place. How are you, polished and assembled? Great to see you. Great to see you. Once again, I am overly excited about a sewing machine. Oh man, this was definitely made for double thread. Which I actually appreciate. Sorry. I got all quiet when I started threading the machine. Yay! Hello. Oh, I'm all stoked. It's a JCPenney's. So I've been ranting and raving about going to JCPenney's, and when I was a kid, we used to go to a place in LA called the JCPenney's Outlet, and that's where all last year's clothes were, and that was like the back to school spot back in the day. So whenever I think of JCPenney's, I think of a certain discount store we would go to back in the day. Oh, that's ready to go. All right, let me cut that. Yay! Hello, everybody. So I'm just doing this, actually, I should go the front way. I really haven't checked this out because I had a lot of running around to do. I was all excited, and I now notice that it needs a change of foot, but that's okay. That's okay. Yay! Hello. Hello, Dixie Doodle. Great to see you. Welcome. Yay! Hello. I have to do some quick surgery on this real quick. I am just wrapped in cords. Oh. Perfect. This is all kind of on the fly because I really didn't take a really deep look at this. I was more excited that the machine was working, so I got to change the foot, which I can do really quick. And like I said, I'm sitting in a room of machines probably the same age or around the same age. Awesome. So I scored this machine for $13. I couldn't believe it because my local thrift store is actually extremely overpriced, and they start at $20 to $24 for machines that they deem to not be special. But with that being said, I've seen tables go for I've seen tables go for $24, so you know, I won't look the gift horse too much in the mouth. Oh, that's perfect. So we're gonna find out together how this machine fires. I know I jumped right into the sewing machine. I hope everyone's doing well. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I'm in full soccer dad mode, so I'm driving around like a crazy person. It's been raining, so I'm wearing snowboard pants because I live in California, and when it gets cold, we bundle. Awesome. Do you know what's funny? The first thing I always check is to see if the light works. So it's always a good sign when the light works. All right. So this is truly a moment of truth. We're going to find out together if this thing works or what's wrong with it. Instantly, I can see it's the feed dogs. Let's try that again. Oh, that's hilarious. That's the funny thing about doing something live is that when I record a video, you would never know how many takes it really took for me to get the machine going. Oh, that's the beautiful thing about taping something, but awesome. Awesome. Yay. Hello, everybody. Why, hello.
Why, hello. How is everyone doing?
I should turn the volume up. How are you?
I'm all right. I have a bowl of chicken soup and a pot of tea. I'm ready for a lovely evening with friends.
Yay. So if this doesn't fire up, I will I'll come back to it later.
No, it's kind of fun seeing you work through the problems.
Well, sometimes it'll take 3 minutes or 3 hours, you know.
That's okay.
That's why when I tape it, I'm like that's why there's like 8-minute videos and not 3-hour videos.
Yeah, but I mean, what else are we here for besides watching you do your thing? So if that's your thing for the night, then it's all right with me anyway.
Oh, maybe I threaded it wrong. Okay, maybe it's me. You know, in troubleshooting, you have to ask the question, is it me? Is it me? So, can you explain to our non-Californian friends of why I'm wearing snowboard pants right now?
Well, even that's a lot. But you know, California gets a lot colder than people think. You know, if it's down in 40 degrees, then that's 5 degrees above freezing. I think that by anybody's metric, that's a little bit cold. You know, it might not be as cold as somewhere, but it is legitimately cold.
And I'm also hurting. I love these things because they have pockets inside of pockets and pockets. So maybe I really wanted to wear my snowboard pants.
I think that's probably it. You're like, it's cold enough. I'll throw it on.
No, I laughed because it was raining all day. The
Mhm.
second I stepped outside, it stopped raining.
Didn't the weather know you were trying to enjoy? You were trying to enjoy the raindrops.
Well, I was prepared for once, you know. And how dare the weather not show up? I think I am threading. You know what? We'll deal with this later because I have a bunch of stuff to surge. But yay, JC Penney's. You know, well, I already know. I'm from the mall era. Did you enjoy the old school mall era?
That was the thing back in the day. I don't think people understand. That was like where you went to hang out and see people and have something to do. And
It's weird to me that these places do not exist anymore. Like when they closed the Sears in my town, I was like, really? You know, it was just one of those things that we kind of like. I don't know if I even really took it for granted. It's just Sears. Would you say, or am I overstating that? Like Sears was before Walmart, so if Sears was the first place where you can go get a bunch of like a hodgepodge of things.
it's an institution. It's where you went if you needed the thing. You know, you needed some tools, you go to Sears. You need a, and I think that, I mean, Sears was economical, but I don't think it quite had it didn't have the same reputation back in the day that it had like towards the end of its life. Like it was known for quality products at a reasonable price back in the day, whereas I think it didn't have quite that reputation at the end.
Well, I think, you know, like anything, the status quo change. Places like Walmart were invented. People just stopped going to places like Sears. It's
Mm-hmm.
strange to me that like we have a group of the mall walkers and they were taking pictures and they were showing how empty my local mall is. Everything's going on the outside. It used to be the exact opposite.
Mm.
These things are boat anchors.
Pam says, I got my fridge from Sears before they closed down.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they used to be like the place for good appliances. Good, everyday appliances.
And I think that's where oh sorry. I think that's where a
No.
lot of the bias comes from. It's because whenever an appliance would go out, we'd end up at Sears, you know. Oh, I'm like Mr. Rogers. Hold on, let me go put a vest on. It's a beautiful day in the neighbor. With these pants on, I'm sweating with my coat on.
Oh, well, maybe you should put some different pants on now that you're indoors. Although your garage is pretty cold, isn't it?
The temperature varies. It's really funny that way. Did you see my Bobby Brown jacket?
No. I'm behind in your videos. It's been hectic, and I keep meaning to watch them, and then I'm like, so
This is from a live. But
from the live. Oh,
I made this
nice
to copy the Bobby Brown video.
Okay,
And it came out way better than I thought it would.
You have a big white thread on your tummy.
This room is one big giant thread.
That's awesome.
But it shines. Now I want to sing the song, but I'm scared of getting a copyright strike. I can't sleep at night. Something. Listen for the telephone. It's from that era where like people always ask, how do you know the word to all these songs? In a weird way, we all know the words to the songs.
Yeah. Every hit you take.
It will be there. But I really like how this came out. So if you ixnay the snowboard pants, because they're huge, but this came out perfect. And it flexes. Even though I'm not moving around as much, it flexes.
I like it.
It came out well. Good old Hobby Lobby.
Hmm. Who knew you could get rhinestone letters at Hobby Lobby?
I wanted to get them from the patch shop in downtown, but they wanted more than Hobby Lobby. So I thought to myself to shop around, and it just didn't have the color I wanted. So this totally reminds me of the Bobby Brown video now. And now I have that song stuck in my head. Thank you, Dixie Doodle. Thank you. I love how it came out. I absolutely love how this came out. When people ask me what era I'm stuck in, I'm going to put this jacket on. Hey, Butterfly. And also, the idea kind of came from a show I watched. This young man upcycles blazers. Every time they cut to a scene, he's got some crazy blazer on. I'm like, I could do that. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. I like that. Like, but you can tell he does it at home, which is not. Sorry.
I used to get an garment upcycling magazine. What was it? Belle Moire? I feel like they changed the name though to something else. Now I can't remember. But it was, it was a lot of like adding patches and lace and combining things and changing stuff around, and it was fun. I appreciated the creativity. You're not going to leave the sewing blazer on?
That is to my exact dimensions, and so it's like kind of tight in the arms because I've become buff in my old age.
Well, also different garments for different purposes. It's not necessarily a sewing garment.
Yeah, I need something that I could move around, but it's one of those things like it's perfectly on my wrists,
Gilead has a message. My weird friends are on.
Hi, how's it going? Great to see you. Great to see you. Thank you so much, Butterfly. Weirdo, we are weirdos united here.
Yeah, I freely admit to being the weirdo friend.
I might have to take these snowboard pants off. They are toasty. I think it's my cowboy boots too, though, because they go halfway up my thigh.
Well, I imagine snowboard pants are meant to keep you dry, which means they're not necessarily heavy on the breathable scale, I would imagine. So maybe they're a little toasty for indoor use.
And fun fact, I own quite a few pairs of snowboard pants, but this particular pair I got for $1 at a SWAT meet like 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh, wow.
It was on a Tuesday SWAT meet.
How do they sell stuff for $1?
To me, it's stolen. You know my answer. You know I can sell stolen. Oh man, I do feel better after taking those off. It was warm, but these are real. And like, I have snowboard pants that I purchased in Portland 15 years ago. I still have them. I still wear them. And yay. Hello, Joy. I was wondering where you were. Yay.
Gilead has a message.
I'm super messed up from that fall, brother. Entire knee is blasted. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
we're here for you while you're resting. We're here for
you. That's a lot.
Next in fashion. Is that a Canadian show? I don't think I can watch that. No, it's what show is that? Gilly, I am so sorry that you're messed up. We're here for you. That's a total boo. Sorry to
Mhm.
hear that. Next in Fashion. Is that the show that I was watching that like when all that stuff happened in Canada? Like 1 week I was watching it, the next day we're like, we know your VPN is not in Canada.
Oh no.
There was quite a few Canadian shows I was hooked on that like one day my VPN just stopped working. I'll get a new one eventually, but
Hmm.
they caught up with whatever company I was using. I am so sorry, Gilly. Um, I got these for $1, and this is why I think everything's stolen at the swap meet, because these are a real special blend. These are real snowboard pants. They're a
Hmm.
bit old school. They're from my era. They're 90s, but these are like these hold up, you know. And if you look up pants now, like snowboard pants, they're insane.
I'm not a snowboard pants expert, so I couldn't tell you like this is fashionable in the snowboard crowd and this the one is not. I don't know. They looked fine to me.
Next in Fashion. Oh, Next in Fashion. Oh, I've seen. Are you on season 1 or 2? Now that I've gathered my thoughts, because I thought I was watching season 1, and I've watched season 2, so I
Hmm.
haven't seen season 1 yet. And Joy picked up a brother VX 520. Can't figure out the bobbin
Hmm.
thingy. Yay! Hello, hello. It's on Netflix. Oh, season 2 was awesome. I won't tell you who. I won't tell you how it. I it, it I loved season 2. Season 1 was kind of shocking after seeing season 2.
Mm.
Awesome, absolutely. You get a ton of love here. Ton of love. Yay! Joey got a new machine. Hey, Kilroy! I was wondering where you were too.
Hi, Gilroy.
Great to see you. Do you know I will never stop telling that story how I got these pants for $1. I was in the snow one time and everybody's like, dude, those are sick pants, brother. I'm like, I paid $1 for these at a swap meet. They're looking at me like, what? They want to hear some war story, and it's literally like, I scored on these. Oh, it's second season is awesome. Just hire someone to wind the damn bobbins for you. When I get Next in Fashion, Rich, where like I don't want to be the person who's on the competition. I want to be the person who hosts the competition. So when I can afford to host my own competition, I have all the sewing machines.
You can host a sewing repair and refurbishment competition.
It would be the Sewing Olympics, patent pending, because you'd have to be multifaceted.
Take this touch and sew and get the bobbin winder working.
Oh, exactly. We would touch and sew would be its own category, because first you'd have to even know what it is. You know, it's so funny. Okay, they were using industrial machines. It's the first time because on RuPaul's Drag Race right now they're still using Singer, and I guarantee you they have one heck of a contract.
Mm.
Next in Fashion was awesome. Season 1 was in the UK, so I watched season 2 first, thinking it was season 1.
Mm.
And I think season 2 is in the United States of America. Touch and sew machine competition, absolutely. There has to be. I cannot be the only person on earth that is in the Touch and Sew Appreciation Society. I cannot be the only person on the face of the earth. Why does Kilroy's picture remind me something from my youth? Because of Kilroy's avatar, I've gone back and started watching Daria again. I forgot how much I love that show. I made a jacket. You know, it's really funny. Like when I first years, I've had that jacket for like Yikes, I made that 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. But the first time I saw Kilroy's avatar, I ran and got my jacket. I was like, look, I made a Daria coat. Look. Because I knew Kilroy would appreciate it.
Today for tea, I have some jasmine green tea with a little bit of honey.
Awesome. You are polished and assembled, and I'm a complete shipwreck. You are polished and assembled. We come together like Voltron.
That's not even what I was referring to.
I know, I'm just giving you a hard time. Oh, it's Monday. It's Monday. Water Day is here early. It's that kind of show. But I'm threading my machine right now because I have everything lined and ready to go. And you're gonna see in a minute what I'm gonna.
You could see the gears turning. The question was about to pop out.
Well, I feel like we need a palate cleanser because I've gone full Starfleet, and I appreciate everybody who watches my streams who isn't into Star Trek. I absolutely think you guys are amazing. So I'm gonna make something non-Star Trek, even though now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I might put my badge on it and just order another one. And they're not chaps. I'm not making chaps either.
Okay. So where does that leave us?
With a whole world of sewing.
The possibilities.
Yeah. Oh no. I just watched this thing about Willy Wonka, and you said possibilities. Now the song is in my to the world of imagination.
I've read the book a number of times, but I've never seen the whole movie. Just little clips here and there.
It's Gene Wilder. You've never seen
I've never seen.
I think I've seen that movie legitimately 50 times, 60 times. My mom babysat when I was really young, so I'm sure I've seen that movie 70 times. I'm gonna together buy tobacco and coffee. Absolutely. I'll drink to that on my coffee stein. I'll drink to that one. Oh, shoe covers.
Oh, that could be fun. Make yourself some godless sewing spats.
Maybe. That's not a bad idea. I just remember when I tried to sell the idea back in 1995, a pair of $100 shoes was like unheard of where I'm from. So I remember trying to sell my dad on the Jordans, and he looked at them and he's like, "Those are spats." He's like, "I can make you spats in 5 minutes." Like that's not that point. Does Husqvarna make a good sewing machine? Okay. So, Gillian, all my early videos, I was using a Husqvarna Viking Emerald. That was the machine I swore by. I purchased it in 2018. Well, late 2018. I absolutely loved that machine. It was the first and only machine I ever went to the actual retailer and purchased it from the actual Husqvarna people. Earlier it was Spanish rice. I just got done with orange chicken. Oh. I saw it at the drive-in.
Wow.
I am. I actually there's 2 sewing machines in here that I do not have the cords for, even though I have hundreds of cords. When I saw Fred Sanford's video, I was like, "Oh, I'm on the path. I'm on the path." When he was like had a video of only power cords, I was like, "Oh, that's me." And he inspired me to wrap them too. Oh, I am to go with Star Trek suit. Let's go back up. Oh, shoe covers to go with my Star Trek suit. That's not a bad idea. Absolutely butterfly. I can't remember the model or after. The guy showed me a receipt for it. It was like $4,500 when it was the machine he was showing off. And he wants 250. If it has electronics on it, check it out. Ask him how much he used it, what year it's from. Really do your research. When you're paying 250, it could be the greatest machine you've ever had, or it could be all plastic. Because um every time I go into Joann's and I go in the back in the sewing machines section, I have to stop myself from going crazy. Because those machines, they start at two grand, 3 grand, you know.
You can also open it up, take the cover off, check and see if it's got nylon or plastic gears or if everything's all metal inside.
When you're paying money like that, like I kick the tires. If I'm paying that much money, I'm gonna see if it works. It does. He's got a LDC, yep, LCD screen. He said it will embroider designs that is it a combination embroidery machine and sewing machine? Oh, now I'm jealous. I think I know exactly what model you're talking about. I think I know exactly what model you're talking about.
Yes, metal is better, Gilly.
That's why I don't go into Joann's, because they have that fake wool that's expensive. I still will not say how much I paid for it. And they have all those sewing machines in the back. Those things are tempting. And you can play with them at Joann's. In my local Joann's, they have them all set up and threaded and ready to go. I had to make sure which direction I'm going in. But I really like this material that I'm working with. It's that black material. I finally decided to start cutting it, and just to see the integrity of it, I washed it. So I'm gonna make something out of it.
All right.
Absolutely, Gilly. Absolutely. Turn it on first. I had to repair a Husqvarna that had the flashing light of death. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The other day, I thought it happened to my press. I almost started crying. I just have to learn how to use that thing. It was telling me something, and I'm like, oh, I got to go to the manual. But it was me and not the machine. Exactly what Butterfly is saying. The flashing light of death is real. Especially when it comes to like, because there's been times you don't know, like, and I'm not even, I'm just saying this for the lack of a better term. You don't know if it's a stud or a dud when it comes to a sewing machine, especially when it comes to the LCD screens. I have the original Singer LCD screen. It worked for maybe 2 weeks before this, and you know, it was the original. My Singer Brilliance, I love that machine. It has given me nothing but drama, and I don't know how to fix it. You know, because it's all electric. It's not like, you know, most sewing machines.
Make sure when you do your research, Gilly, that the software is still compatible with modern computers, that you have a way to get it from on that the software will interface with your computer, and also that you have a way to get it from your computer to the machine.
Do you know, it's so ironic you would say that. We actually had a hiccup at my job today because I I'm using software that's so old that the computers won't honor it anymore. And I got the, are you kidding me?
You know, you look at some of the machines and you're like, oh, this one, you know, put the files on with this floppy disk, and you're like,
No. I just keep hitting send and it keeps going somewhere. And people are like, thanks for the report, you know, and I'm like, cool. You guys got to be like Will and pounce on it and see how it works after. That's how you get a shed full of sewing. That's another thing I got. Somebody today was like, so when are you going to get a warehouse? But if you think about it, if I paid for a warehouse, the monthly rate would probably be cheaper than my storage unit.
I mean, there's something to be said for that.
And I could probably put way more stuff in a warehouse than my storage unit.
Be better organized with it.
Exactly. I could finally build the giant set that I want, say what I really want. We'll be here. Joy will be here. I had to send the motherboard. Exactly. And the power board to sewing machine. Repair guy, he replaced the capacitors and sent it back.
Mm.
All blue sapphire are beautiful machines. I am a Husqvarna fanboy. Shill is more like it. Shill, complete Husqvarna shill. Oh, that's hilarious. All right. Been sitting here talking over my machine. Old Clacky is ready to go. Let me set up my table.
Old Clacky. Probably old thirsty.
I know if there was ever a machine that deserved to be taken down and just dunked in oil, it's this one. Checking it out. Do you know what's so funny? Today, I grabbed the machine. My son grabbed my arm. He was like, turn it over. See if it works. I'm like, oh, you listen to me. And I had to legitimately say to my son, oh, you're right. Because for $13, I just grabbed it and was like, you're mine. We'll figure out everything else later.
I can replace a capacitor.
$12.99, you know. But my son was like, breathe. Because I'm gonna tell you, we go all the time, and he scores all my local Goodwill never has sewing machines, never. But we go because it's part of our tradition, you know. And I was shocked when I turned the corner and found it. It's a very it's a very nice machine. If you don't send it to the house of sewing, we use sewing machines around here. That's what it is. Maybe I secretly have my own factory, and I've been lying this entire time, and this room is really my office. And I walk out, and there's big smokestacks, and it's House of Sewing Industries. How you doing, dude? Awesome. I love you, buddy. Enjoy your life, man. I always have to give my son words of encouragement. I feel like we should tell people more, like, hey, live your life. Live your I tell my son all the time, like, enjoy whatever age. I blame it on John Cougar Mellencamp. Do you know what song I'm talking about? Hold on to 16 as long as you can. Let it rock. Let it roll. Let the Bible belt come and save my soul. We're gonna have the music edition one day. One night we're gonna have the music House of Sewing music edition.
Maybe if I heard the music or something. It's not. I mean, I was never like that up on John Cougar Mellencamp. So.
Oh yeah, life goes on.
Oh, is that the one you're singing?
Even after godless sewing, stop singing this song. And to those 3 people that clicked off, I don't blame you. I'm terrible at singing. I don't blame you. Apparently, they're not Cougar fans.
Either that or they really are. And they're like, that's not the rendition I wanted today.
How dare this guy smear that song? I'm absolutely, like, when it comes to music, before I started live streaming all the time, I would just sit in here and sew and listen to good music and watch. I would watch good streams and stuff, but a lot of it was music.
I like to listen to audiobooks.
YouTube got me hooked on those as well. Even people like Neil deGrasse Tyson has a few of his books out. There's a few books that are on YouTube right now that are awesome.
I'll have to look for those.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if that actually happened? Polished, I'm involved with them too.
Involved with, oh dear. Involved with which? I've lost track of what conversation was it when you posted that.
Okay, let me pull my table out. I showed off my dollar. I'm so proud of these pants. I am so proud.
What a find. Maybe they were just, dead stock or something.
Hopefully. Oh, you missed my Girl Scout cookies speech.
You gave a Girl Scout cookie speech? Fill me in.
Do you know, for the same price as a carton of cigarettes, you can go crazy and make a Girl Scouts a day. I went a little crazy today and bought some Girl Scout cookies. Do you know how much these are? This right here is 20-something bucks. I bought 9 boxes.
Wow.
I don't play. I support my local Girl Scout troop.
I guess. Woo.
That young lady acted like she'd never seen a $50 bill before.
Probably has.
In love with audiobooks. Autocorrect is awful. Trust me, Gilly, autocorrect and I are not friends. When finally happened, completely forgot I had mascara on and rubbed my eyes. Thankfully, I didn't have to go anywhere.
Well, I mean, that is a look in and of itself. You just changed to the grunge look. Got to work with the eye you've got.
Nothing wrong with the grunge look either. I'm going to gorge on these later.
Now if you're all glammed up and you've got the grunge look, you might have to make an adjustment somewhere, but
I'll show you that machine for 9 boxes right now. Girl Scout cookies are crazy expensive. And I remember almost 10, 11 years ago being like $5 a box. They've gone past that. Can you I'm reading General Schwarzkopf's autobiography right now and going through the new Cambridge Modern History again. I need to put my glasses on because I couldn't see Schwarzkopf. Girl guides. They freeze well. Do you know what's so funny? I did that and I thought it was Christmas when I found Thin Mints in the back of the freezer like 8 months later. I was like, whoa! Like it didn't tell
golden lights start coming out of the freezer. Angels singing in the background.
No, I didn't tell anyone. I'm like a sad man in the corner eating defrosted Thin Mints. Like, oh, these are so good. These are so good.
Joy says you can eat them frozen, and I was wondering why you bothered to let them defrost.
I'm weird. I'm so weird. They are good. Girl guides.
I like to bake, and so sometimes what I'll do is if it's just like one friend coming over or whatever, then I make up a tray of cookies and then I put the rest unbaked in between sheets of parchment in a dish in the freezer. So then whenever you want fresh cookies, they're there.
That's how that's how my so-called life gained 75 pounds with a tray of cookies. What did I say that for today? I was talking and I was like, That was like and I said something. I was like, yeah, that was the downfall. That just ruined me. And there was like 3 people in the room, like, I get you, man. I know what you're talking about. What was that? That's right. My son had a Happy Meal habit, and I would eat a McChicken every other day, and I did that for 2 years. And when I stopped doing that, I lost a good 15 pounds. And sometimes when he wasn't even around, I'd go get a McChicken. Or on the way to go pick him up, I'd get a McChicken. So it was like every day. That's why my son and I were talking, because he's taking an art class. He hasn't been to school since 2019 in person.
Wow.
Uh-huh. And like we were talking about our habits then and now. We're much different now. And he's my size now. I don't know if but frozen spinach bag they were hidden in. See, where I'm from, like, you couldn't do that. That's the first place I'd look. If it's an unattended item in the freezer, I'm like, oh, they're hiding money in there, jewels or something. Schwarzkopf was a real general's general. Gave the absolute best press conferences. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that too. Awesome. Should have kept growing that McChicken, baby. I was hooked on those things. I was hooked on McChickens. I ate them for a very long time. Yeah, there's $6 here too. It adds up. I went crazy today. I went crazy. To me, that's a lot of money for Girl Scout cookies, but I remember when they were like $3 a box.
Mm.
I don't think I've ever had a McChicken. Had their nuggets plenty of times, but not the chicken sandwich. It's a giant chicken nugget. But I don't want to tell you, no, it's bad for your health. They're bad. I can't lie. I used to stack a McChicken and a McDouble together and dip it in Big Mac sauce every day for about a month when I got back from Iraq for the first time.
Clearly, you were going through some stuff.
I am due, because tonight I'm sitting there, I'm reading my book. First off, I'm rereading Giovanni's Room. I forgot how hot and heavy that book was. I'm sitting there, I'm like, woof. So I'm sitting there reading Giovanni's Room, and I'm like, you know what? I'm Graven Jack in a Box. So I have 0 days. Hold on, let me see if the heart works. I have 0 days of accident free. So that McChicken baby might be coming back.
Back when the world was open, I went to a Starbucks to just, have a cup of coffee and read a book. And I'm reading this ebook, and I'm like, oh my word. There was some whole very involved love scene, and I'm like, this is just a little bit much for Starbucks.
Thank you. So I think tomorrow I might come with a different book. I'm gonna read it tonight, but like I forgot. I'm sitting there and like it's rare that I'm reading a book and I'm like, oh. Like, if to an outside observer, they're like, what is he reading? What is he reading? Been a while.
Have you seen the person who prints these like scandalous book covers?
Yes.
And like puts them on his books and reads them on the subway?
Yes. I love that person. That person is my hero. There's some that I can't even say out loud on YouTube. Those are the best ones. Yay. Welcome, Alibaba. I was wondering where you were. I don't do fast food anymore either, so I'll never have one. I'd rather go sit down place. Is there the same price here? They're the same price. I'm with you. I just needed love it all the time. Hey, I'm the same way. That's like The other, I live by a Burger King, and I started eating Whoppers again. And one day I sat down and I was like, "What's the real problem?" Because Whoppers are only the symptom. What's the real problem? What hole are you trying to fill with that overpriced Whopper? Oh, I'm so sorry. Computers like are just drama in general. Do you know it wasn't until I bought this one did I realize how slow my other one was. You know? I just happened to be I was lucky to live stream. Yay! Hello, hello. All right, let me go
Good
grab
to
my
see you, Alibaba. Oh, sorry.
No, please. I'm filled with lack of sleep and espresso, so it leads to just me blah blah blah. Yay, hello everybody. Hello, hello. My sons started asking for it and their buddies asking for it, acting like it was a fast food crack. I stopped and got back on my workout game. I'm like my job in a way keeps me healthy. Even being in the office, there's a lot of walking around, and like my job sits on a hill. So sometimes, like on certain, like if we have a meeting or something, I'll walk down to the meeting because I know I have to schlep all the way back up to the shop. And it's funny. I've been around that hill almost my entire life, and every time I go up there, the hill gets a little bit steeper.
You need to make excuses to go down there 2 or 3 times a day.
And we have it in like if we have this weird access road, if you walk the entire access road around the front in the middle of the property, it's basically a mile and a half. But it doesn't feel like it. I love stuff like that. When you walk, you're like, wow, I just did something productive today. It doesn't even feel like I walked a mile and a half, you know?
Yeah. Ooh.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Puzzle box. Ooh, that's awesome. The only thing I get from McDonald's nowadays is their Barks root beer. They carbonated it so much. I love it. Here, all their drinks are a buck too. They do that to grease you, get you in there. Plus a new singer transverse lookup. Hopefully soon on both. Awesome.
Nice.
I haven't been to Mickey D's in 5 years. Do you know what's so funny? When even before the plague, I stopped eating fast food because I looked at my son and I was like, ooh, this isn't good for either one of us. And then the plague hit. And the only person who cared was Domino's. The only person who was there for me emotionally was Pizza Hut and my local pizza place and any place that sold, chicken sandwiches. I hadn't been to Subway since I was in high school. I started going to Subway again during the plague. And in other countries, it doesn't even count as bread.
I feel like now I haven't been since before the plague, but I kind of stopped going because I didn't feel like they were as good as they used to be.
Who's that? Sorry.
Subway.
They're not, and we have better options, we have Togos. I'm not a fan of Jersey Mike's, but they're better. Not a fan, but they're much better, Oh, I love singer puzzle boxes. Absolutely.
Me too.
Holly, can you tell me anything about Jones brother VX520 and Gilly? Do you know any good resources online to learn about setting up and using sewing machines? It depends on the sewing machine. Oh, exactly. Like I thought you were gonna go off. And like what Kilroy is saying, look up the manual. It will tell you everything. That's how I learned machine by machine. Like every time I would Google something, I would learn more and more and more. And then I did a video about Isaac Merritt Singer because he's a real life pirate. Had 19 kids, I think.
There is a surprising amount of information in just the little like regular user's manual. They're not even that big, and they have all kinds of, oh, and you can do this and you can do that, and this is how you do the thing over here. And that's not even like the repair manual or the adjuster's manual or the parts list for the machine. Just the regular user's manual has so much information in it.
Do you know what's funny? Neither does mine. There's people that go to McDonald's and they go to the Jack in the Box because it has that weird machine that has every soda known to earth. Those new ones are a trip. I'm sorry, I'm old, but it's a trip to be like, oh, I forgot that soda existed. Let me get this. Like, those machines are crazy. If you look up the specific machine on YouTube, exactly, you'll probably see me. Enjoy. I would have to have a JAJC number. I was behind but caught up now. Yay. Only numbers I saw on it. If it's a brother, it should be pretty easy to track, but unfortunately, Singer has one of the best tracking systems I've ever come across. Everything else, like, is kind of a crapshoot because there's certain machines. If you do not hear me say the year, I genuinely could not find the manufacturer, where it came from. Like, something happened where I'm like, what happened where I cannot find any information on this? But Singer, bar none. I could tell you the year of every single Singer sewing machine in this room because IMAX is spot on. I have yet to find a machine that is a Singer that isn't on their list. I got my doctorate from YouTube as the same school. Sometimes at my job, like, people will be like, hey, how did you know that? And I'm like, YouTube. It's true though. Like, my garage door, the manual, the video instruction video is on YouTube.
Yeah.
I got stumped one day. I was like, let me see. I typed it in. The literal factory manual with the guy like explaining everything is on it. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Of course, Alibaba, I am a Singer enthusiast. And still to this day, it's the IMAX is the most accurate chart I've ever come across.
Well done, Alibaba. We appreciate you.
No, because like even with my white rotaries, they're like, I think it's from 18 blah blah blah. Like with other machines, they're like, we're guessing, you know. I'm gonna go grab everything that I was lining earlier. Oh.
I have a few of the puzzle boxes. Some of them are in pretty good condition, but some of them need to be like completely refurbished. And the little like bar that holds the feet in, it's loose in a bag with the feet. I'm like, well, this will be a fun restoration project. So, but there were a surprising number of different layouts for the box, so want to make sure you get the right one. But the I have for the wallpaper on my phone, the brochure for one of the Singer puzzle boxes, like the layout that has number such and such is this, number such and such is that. We've all been there. I was over in the dance rooms. Oh, 16 layouts. Wow. I didn't realize there were quite that many, but you know, I'm not really surprised. Let's see. Allie and Robert and my mentors of the past, Gregory and Graham. You all do amazing work over there, Alibaba. Puzzle box 3. I love how you're like, oh, that's puzzle box number 3. It's just a picture of I don't know if it's a page in the manual or like a brochure. I can't remember at this point. And so I just chose that for my wallpaper. Butterfly says, I want to learn how to use all the attachments in the puzzle box. That's one of the things I think that a lot of people don't realize that, you know, you think that the old machines, well, they're just straight stitch, but they had so many different attachments that they pretty much do about all the things that the modern machines do. It's pretty remarkable.
Not all attachments are easy, but once you get them, they're amazing.
That's true. That's true. You know, a little practice, but
they're intimidating at first as well. And I still cover books. I'm from a certain era.
Well, keeps them looking nice, keeps the pages from getting the covers from getting dirty and mangled.
I need to cover Giovanni's room. I don't want people to know I'm reading something steamy.
Well, you know, it kind of gives it away when you open it and the smoke starts rising from the page.
Oh, I forgot. Holy God. I was reading it and I was like, it's rare that I gasp where I'm like, oh. I have a couple copies of it and I was like, you know what? It's been so long. I need to read this. I have not, you know, it's been a while. And by the way, I tried out these new cookies. I just purchased them. I haven't had them yet, but they're indulgent brownie inspired cookies with caramel flavored cream and a hint of sea salt.
That's a big thing now, to put sea salt in the caramel. And I'm salt sensitive and it's too much salt for me, which I suppose is a good thing, so it keeps me from eating too many caramels.
Absolutely. I have to take these away from me. These ones are the worst. I could eat a whole row of these the shortbread cookies.
So
I've had a problem with these my whole life. These ones, hands down. I'm gonna eat this whole box after this stream. And you know what's funny? A year ago, everybody witnessed my ex-wife rob me live on stream for a box of this. I'm hiding these. And if you're watching, it's Monday. These will be gone by the time you see me. I just remembered that. I'm still mad because I remembered.
I'm pretty sure that's a felony.
Oh, and I was like, sure, just bitter, just steaming inside. I forgot about covering textbooks. I guess I'm I do that because I have a car and a truck and I'm constantly carrying a bunch of stuff. I have my tool bag I always carry with me right here, my books, and you know, things get tossed around. And I'm a heavy breaker.
Oh goodness.
I'm kidding, but give me space. Thank you. I love shortbread cookies. It's a bad habit. I love shortbread cookies.
My mom likes me to make her shortbread, and I practically have to wrestle her to get any of it. She's not really a sweets person, but she will take that whole pan home.
They're good. It's because they're amazing. I bet they're just amazing. Oh, that's so funny. Do you know what? This room is growing. This room is like a mushroom. It is just like slowly expanding and growing. On my last stream, I showed the extreme difference between 2 years ago and now.
Oh.
Back when you could do a backflip in this room. Now, like, do you know what's so funny? Do you know what's so funny? I was in the shop truck, and me and someone I work with, we were sitting there. We were sitting at a 7-Eleven, and these two people were about to, they were about to get in a confrontation. And he looked at me, and he's like, "Those guys are fighting like they have health insurance." I have health insurance, and I am extremely cautious. I call mine fatty cookies. A lot of butter. Oh, holy baba. You guys, you keep on talking about cookies. I'm just going to sit here and become the cookie monster.
What kind of butter do you put in yours, Alibaba?
My books come pre-battered, so I don't bother with covering them through nowadays. I just keep my Kindle in my purse, and those at first got 800 plus books. I need to get that information off that one tablet I have. It has just every Viking saga that could fit on there, every Carl Sagan book. And I got lost in those Viking sagas. Like, that was a crazy year. I sat there for a whole year. Eventually, I'm going to have to get rid of the books, though. I'm just over the fire hazard line. See, that's why you got to, like, buy an old church.
Get rid of books.
I'm still thinking about getting that old church.
That seems very appropriate for you.
I'd have some crazy video. You'll know if I do.
I don't know lactancia. I usually use Kerrygold myself. Have you ever made your own butter?
Not since Boy Scouts.
It's so good. And then you can use the buttermilk and make some biscuits to put the butter on. I mean,
now you're making me really hungry. I am a sucker for buttermilk biscuits. Matter of fact, if you put free Juki and free biscuits on the side of a van, I'm gone. I'm gone. You'll never see me again. To my UK friends, when we say biscuits, we mean cake-like creatures. They look like cakes, but we call them biscuits. Because they would call them a cake in the UK.
Well, I mean, they're kind of like scones. Or scones, depending on where you're pronouncing it.
So you put gravy on it, then it's just amazing. You know what's so funny? Someone I know recently was like, you've been around the world. You've seen all these things, and you are so uncultured. I still eat biscuits and gravy. I still eat cheeseburgers. I still,
Oh, and gravy is a different thing for biscuits. It's not brown gravy. It's like a bechamel sauce with sausage in it.
Oh, I'm so hungry now. We have been in the food portion of my so-called life for the past hour. Oh, man. I should start searching.
Well, Kilroy, at least you're using real butter. That's all right.
I have my own butter. It doesn't take long.
Oh.
I use this stuff at Smart and Final. I think it's called Challenge Butter. Shout out to all my margarine folks.
Margarine. Oh.
I knew I get you triggered.
Boo. I'm sorry, I've got to go.
Do you know what's so funny? The other day, I go to the Goodwill so much, I get the days confused, but I saw a mini waffle maker. And I was like, this is the most ingenious thing, but I know why it's at the Goodwill. Because you can only make one at a time. I need a press with like 8. I needed something I can pull down and make 8 mini waffles at once, you know. But then you just have a giant waffle iron. I have a waffle iron, so like I appreciate a good giant waffle. I feel like a dirtbag. I use basic bitch butter and it comes in 4 sticks. Hey, I use challenge butter from the like I eat margarine. No judgment here whatsoever.
I'm judging you. If you eat margarine, I'm judging you. Sorry, got to pick which side of the screen you want to go with. Not judgment or judgment, but I'm judging you if you're using margarine.
You know, at this point, you and I are left or right Twix. We are left Twix or right Twix. You choose which factory you want to go to. I miss those commercials. Those were amazing commercials. Those were amazing. Oh my gosh, we really are left or right Twix because of other factors. Joy, I am making a coat out of this black material. I think it's
Ooh.
time. I need to start sewing. This won't take me that long, but I don't want to go for like 5 hours tonight because I know it's late. I know I start an hour later than normal. Virginia ham bacon. You guys are making me so. I'm gonna be in my kitchen making like frying bacon, making waffles after this stream. Look at the waffle machine behind you. I have what is it? I have a Cuisinart one, and I have one that I ordered off of Amazon that works just as well. My Cuisinart one was round, and I'm a geek, and I wanted a square one.
Sometimes you're feeling round, sometimes you're feeling square.
The Cuisinart one is huge, though. It's like you make one waffle, it's enough for 2 people. The other, I wanted one where I can still gorge, but not be like, why did I make this giant cake of a waffle? Like, it's either huge. It's so huge. I think I bought the family-sized waffle maker. Smart and Final is where it's at because it's they sell stuff in restaurant-sized portions too.
Yeah, a lot of restaurant places like small, like not like a huge massive chain, but you know, we would shop at Smart and Final.
As somebody who goes to restaurants in this town, do you know I give people the side eye when they see me and I see them at Smart and Final? I'm like, if you're putting the same ingredients that I give them that look, like I know where you get your food now, or now I know where you get your coffee. But they have mega portions there, mega. Margarine equals judgment, absolutely. Your whole demeanor changed. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
I like.
Will it? No, I have not watched those YouTube videos.
I don't know those. I saw a video from Sarah Chrisman. She's the one who she and her husband like to live with Victoriana, and you know, like they feel like it gives them a better idea of how things work and all of that. So they had a wood stove and a waffle iron that went like in the little hole in the wood stove, and would like she demonstrates it was called a waffle iron because waffle you could flip it around. That was pretty neat to see. Japanese ramen, will it waffle? Griswold waffle iron. Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar. So did they? I mean, I'm assuming they cook the ramen first. Do they drain the water? Because I mean, that could be kind of good, like a savory waffle. Get the noodles all crispy on the outside. They drain the water. Okay, that makes sense. Chaffles, little baby waffle maker. Huh. I've never been really into waffles. Like, I'm not against them, but I tend to prefer like a pancake or a crepe or something myself. But looked up a guy called Ordinary Sausage. He makes sausages out of the same stuff just to see what will happen. Fry stuff for an hour too, and boil steaks and random stuff for the same reason. Huh. I mean, that could be good. Oh, crepes.
Oh, I just realized I wasn't muted. Sorry.
Okay, I just shouted over your machine.
I thought I was this entire time. What a geek.
Oh my goodness. I was on a Zoom appointment with my doctor and I was sipping a protein shake. And I muted because I was down at the bottom and I wanted to do a big, slurp of the last of my protein shake. And I went to unmute and I saw that it hadn't been muted. I just blasted with that.
I've learned that the hard way too. See, now you know that I don't say anything horrible behind anyone's back. I get nice and quiet when I think I'm muted. I'm not doing anything nefarious.
No cursing a blue streak at the machine.
I've said this before. But my son just got into watching those videos. I think it's criminal how people waste food for views on YouTube or TikTok, I'm against, and I'm saying this joking. I gave the disclaimer in the beginning. I'm saying this is a joke, but don't mess around with food. I'm from the era where our parents would tell us that people in other countries were starving. You don't waste food. It is an affront to everything I am when I see people wasting food on online.
Well, I mean, some of the glazes and sauces have a lot of sugar in them, so I guess it could be like a sweet, like jerky kind of thing or something.
Today, Isaiah and I we watched this video of this guy who got ground beef. Basically, like they'll do this thing where they'll like cook everything at once, and it's like you're wasting food. They don't. It's for views. It's my new pet peeve. I swear it's from that era where we got guilted of like, do you realize how privileged you are to be sitting at this table? I'm from a different era. At least it's fun to watch. There's literal tons of food waste every second and nobody thinks about it. It drives me crazy. Do you know in LA County, it is now illegal for anywhere. Basically, if you have food in your establishment, you have to donate it to a homeless shelter.
Oh, really?
It's a law now.
Good.
If you have excess food, you have to donate it to somewhere where it can be distributed to people.
There's a company. It's like a grocery subscription box, and it's called like, I don't know, Ugly Produce or something. And because apparently a lot of produce that just isn't like beautiful for the grocery shelves ends up going to waste.
Oh yeah.
Sell it. But we shouldn't be wasting food. When I hear about people in places that are starving, I'm like, this is just wrong. People are starving for political reasons. It's not because there's some sort of shortage.
Especially here, like, or even like, Sometimes when I'm really early in downtown, I'll go wander through the flower district, and like at 7:30 in the morning, I'm late because they get there at like 2:30, and it always makes me wonder, like, what do they do with the excess flowers they don't sell that day? Because they trash a bunch of them, and they come back the next day with even more. It's the strangest thing.
I wonder if they send them off somewhere for like compost, fertilizer, animal feed. I don't know. Well, some are poisonous, so I don't know.
Around here, probably nothing is wasted. It's the strangest thing to me.
They had an Amnesty International ad in the 70s with Mary Tyler Moore. They were eating filthy scraps and she wanted us to donate. Mom had made something I didn't like and she told me no, not to waste.
I'm telling you, I'm from that era too of like, my mom would guilt me. And that worked. That propaganda works. I had to hear her. It works. I'm not like that necessarily with my son because like we kind of have the same taste buds. But it's also like people ask me, how can you like I know a lot of people who don't eat fish. I grew up where that was like no option to not eat it. I didn't know any better. So I love fish. You know. That ugly box is completely for show. It ends consumers who waste the most. Bad looking produce winds up in cans. Salad mixes frozen foods, etc., etc., etc. Our modern food system is quite efficient.
I did think there was a little bit of a gimmick, because as you say, canned food, animal feed, etc., etc. But it does, I think, point out how visual we are. Is we're wandering the grocery store and we're like, oh no, that's not the nice looking carrot. I'm going to get this other one over here, when doesn't matter. My mom was I think my mom found a good balance, with food growing up. I think that there are parents who are unreasonable, who act like kids, don't have taste buds and preferences. But I do think that a lot of parents are overindulgent and they're not teaching their kids to enjoy a variety of foods and enjoy healthy foods. And, I think my mom was pretty good. She recognized that some stuff I'd like just honestly did not like, but she also, made me eat my vegetables.
I kind of grew up the same way. I like fat back, beef ribs, pork ribs, lamb. I grew up in the lard era, so I grew up very like it very much classes with today's world. Have a great night, Butterfly. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Have a good night.
I still cook with lard, like unironically.
Kilroy will tell you the benefits of cooking with lard. Yeah. No, this is true. My mother was never much of a cook either. But, I didn't starve, but it's just cooking is not her forte. She doesn't have a feel for things, and inevitably things go wrong. They burn,
Whoops, absolutely. Absolutely. It's really funny. My mom quit cooking one day and my dad was a better cook than my mom. Hands down. Hands down. I remember looking at him like, oh bro, you need to cook every night. Like what is this? Like he was a much better cook. But see, I was the youngest, and my mom had gone through generations, and she was tired of ungrateful people, and I don't blame her. In
Yeah.
that sense, I understand.
Yeah. My poor mother. She likes like scones and biscuits almost as much as she likes shortbread, and she can't make either one of them. She's tried. She makes biscuits and they just come out like dry little lumps, and just something is going wrong in the process. It just never comes out for her. I reassure her. I say, you know what? It's all right. You have many other skills and talents. I'm sorry that biscuits aren't one of them, but they don't have to be. So what are some of your favorite things to cook, Kilroy? And everybody, fill us in the comments. This seems to be the food show.
This absolutely is the food show. We all came in hungry today. Good gravy. Now I'm craving gravy. Do you know I have to make the distinction between America and UK because I was recently watching a video where they gave British school children American food, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're crazy in America. I was like, oh my God. But the truth is, if you did if you gave British food to American children, you'd get the same reaction.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
some stuff just seems weird if you're not used to it.
like I said, I grew up with multicultural, like all different types of cultures, so I'm open to all kinds of food. But I don't like plantains.
They're
I
so
think they're the
good.
grossest thing on earth. I think they're the
so
grossest
good.
thing. And the funny thing is, I eat bananas every day. Fry it, I'll run out of the room.
That's so weird to me, because they're like little caramelized bananas when they're cooked up. I'm astonished that you don't like them. Now, have you tried them?
Yeah, of course I have.
Okay, just checking.
Of course. From and you know, it's funny, every time I get someone who's from Mexico, they're like, oh, you haven't tried. Or I get someone from Cuba, they're like, oh, try it this way. Or someone from Panama, like, I'm just not a fan.
Is it a flavor or a texture thing for you?
It's one of those things from childhood that I never grew out of. And I eat oatmeal, I eat all kinds of things now. There's just when I was a kid, it was the one thing I didn't eat.
Alibaba says, I love to bake chocolate cake too.
Oh, that's what
love a good chocolate cake.
That's how I gained 50 pounds during COVID.
Baking chocolate cakes
and cupcakes. I have all, like I went to my mom's house and I was like, I need cupcake and cake form. She's like, bro, what shape you want? You want a heart? You want a hand? Like, what do you want? I got everything you need. And I got huge during COVID, and it was cupcakes. In my house, you would walk in my house, there was either cupcakes or a cake ready to go.
I bought a cookbook, Baking for Two, because I like to bake, but I don't need a whole batch of something sitting around the house because then I'll eat it. So, but I haven't really tried anything from the Baking for Two because it turns out my friend who would come over eats about like 6 servings at once. So that took care of it. I love a good Waldorf salad. I have the original recipe from the original Waldorf Astoria Hotel. No nuts or grapes, just red delicious apple, celery, and mayonnaise on top of lettuce. Salt and pepper to taste. I didn't know that it didn't originally have nuts or grapes. I thought it automatically came with walnuts, which is what I don't care for about Waldorf salad. Who knew?
I'm on the fence, but I would totally eat one. I'm really hungry, so the second you said that, I started craving one.
The Waldorf salad makes me think of oh, dang it. Come back to me when I remember the name of it. It's that it's kind of like a cross between chicken curry and a Waldorf salad, and it's like a British version of Indian food kind of thing, and they make a sandwich out of, like, it's like a chicken salad but with curry seasoning in it, and it's called something. It has grapes in it, and ah, darn it, whatever it's called, I like it, even if it does have imperial colonialization, etc. heritage.
I was about to say, never mind.
What?
I was about to give you a hard time for your colonial speech you just gave right now.
Yeah, it's the downside of the downside. I mean, the food, getting lots of food from all over the place, that's the upside. Trading goods from the proverbial corners of the world, that's the good side. Oppression, you know, not so much. So, Alibaba, what are some of your favorite chocolate cake recipes? I have a couple from Nigella Lawson that I really, really like. She has some good recipes in her cookbooks. And William, what kind of chocolate cakes and cupcakes were you making back in the plague times?
It started off with a box of Ghirardelli brownie mix, and it got so bad that I was Amazoning it. I got hooked on Ghirardelli brownie mix. And that was the beginning of my downfall. And then I made a brownie cake. And then my Baskin Robin training started kicking in. I taught my son how to make ice cream cakes.
Oh dear.
We got and even my ex-wife, she wanted to be a baker. She was like, bro, here's all my old sheets, everything. So we had equipment from my mom's from all over the place. We got huge during COVID. At least I did. No, my son got tall and lanky. I just went sideways. He went up, I went sideways.
Have you seen that cookbook? I think it was from the 90s, and it was like the cake mix, I don't know, cookbook or something like that, but you would take a cake mix. Oh, I'm making freeing things. But you take a cake mix and you would mix in pudding and butter and extra this and that, and adjust it. And so it was kind of I would say the flavor profile was somewhere in between a box cake and a homemade. So it didn't taste like purely homemade, but it had, it was augmented box cake. That was very popular for a while. We only get the chocolates here, nothing else.
It sat in my pantry so long that they didn't sell. I don't think they sell it here anymore either. That's why I started Amazoning it. I called them. I'm like, look, we're stuck in the house. Where's the Ghirardelli brownie mix? And I got it. But that's when I found out also, I was hooked on the Cheetos Chester's popcorn. I called Frito-Lay's. They mailed it to my house. I got the box like you get at the store. I was like, score.
I just can't imagine that staying fresh.
Do you know what's really funny? When I lost my taste for it, it didn't. Because I went through 3 or 4 packages, and then a year later, I was like, well, it's still good. But it wasn't a year old. It was just the fact that they would not stay. Oh, one time it got delivered to you and half the bags were popped. And so
Oh.
they gave me another bag, another box. So I went from having like 50 to 70, or something crazy, some outrageous amount, you know. Man, I forgot about my Frito-Lay's days. That's why I gained so much weight during the plague. Like that's when I really discovered the thrills of Amazon. Duncan Hines and Betty Crocker cakes. I do too. I'm hooked on Pillsbury frosting. I'm hooked on Pillsbury frosting.
I'm not
You
a
would
big
love
frosting
Smart and Final. Kilroy, you would love Smart and Final.
You should try that cake mix augmenting cookbook. Alibaba says, oh, excuse me. Alibaba says they have it. Maybe they can give us the actual title of the cookbook. I think a lot of people discovered baking one way or another during the plague times. They're like, this is the time to learn how to make sourdough.
I had all these bougie like mixes and stuff in my cabinet. I went through every glaze. I was like, oh, this is crud. This makes me break out in hives. I don't know what that is. Like, so I now know every flavor I love. Like the plague, I got to know myself again. I really got to know myself again.
I'm not really a big I'm not a big frosting person, but I do like a nice ganache.
You would take me to the doctor if you saw how much frosting I ate.
Oh goodness. But I remember, actually, I think I've said this before. If I have, just ignore me. But I remember being a little kid, and all the kids at the birthday parties would be like, "Oh, I want the edge, I want the corner of frosting, la la." And I remember, like, actually, you know what? I'm not really liking this frosting, and I'm like scraping it off. And so I learned to just wait. And I'm like, I'll take a piece from the middle, please.
I'm weird. I'm even like that with whipped cream. This is the food edition. I'm gonna have to go back and throw some tags on this one.
Alibaba says, I missed the Hershey peanut butter cupcake mix and set. Huh.
Oh, we
So
have that here. We have that here.
Did you whip up the peanut butter with some cream or something and pipe it into the inside of the cupcakes? Is that what you do with this? Sounds intriguing to me. Kilroy says frosting hurts my teeth.
I actually have sensitive teeth as well. I don't, but like I knew somebody who used to use Arm & Hammer baking soda and peroxide. It worked, but they brushed their teeth so much that they started taking the enamel off their teeth. So it does whiten your teeth, but it grinds it down slowly.
You can do a excuse me, you can do a peroxide rinse without the baking soda. The baking soda would be a little bit abrasive. Or there's a toothpaste I use, Boka, Boka, and that one's enamel rebuilding.
The Los Angeles Kings are tied with the San Jose Sharks. It is 2-2 in the third period. Back to you, Waternay.
That's great. Now the Kings and the Sharks can both be happy right now. We don't have to disappoint anybody.
No, we don't root for the Sharks here. This is not Sharks country. Right on that. Right on.
What if one of your viewers is a big Sharks fan?
I love you. You should pick a better team. Make better choices in life. Like I would tell my son, is that a good choice that you're making right now? Are we making good choices? Why would you support? I would give my son a speech. Are you really supporting that franchise? Why are you doing this to me? Oh, that's funny. I know I'm not like that. I would let my son root for whoever he wants to. There was one um Super Bowl, and every 6 or 7 years the Super Bowl lands on my birthday now. And there was one year we were having a dual party, and this was years back. My Everyone in my house was wearing Steelers gear, and I wasn't because I'm not a Steelers fan. But my grandma walks in and she's like, "I want the green guys to win." And the Packers beat the Steelers. Everybody in the room was looking at my grandma. They're like, "She cursed us." Like they were just looking at my grandma. Like, how did she know? She's like, "Oh, the green guys are gonna win." Oh, I'll never forget that. All right, let me mute myself.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of basketball, so.
That's so every year, we have a weird finger food Super Bowl. It's the only reason I show up. We go crazy at Trader Joe's. We literally go to Trader Joe's and get all the finger foods. I'm really not even into quiche. I eat quiche every year of the Super Bowl. Every year. Um we get all kinds of finger foods. I got everybody hooked on mozzarella sticks. I've told this story a million times, but when I quit drinking, and I have not had a drink in, oh man, it's been almost 13 years. And I'll never forget one day I was like, just because I give up booze doesn't mean I have to give up the food. I started eating chicken fingers again, mozzarella sticks, peanuts, which I'm not a fan of peanuts. The quiche bowl sponsored by mozzarella sticks. Absolutely. I'm hooked on mozzarella. I'm hooked on them. I had mozzarella sticks yesterday. That reminds me I need to buy more.
I like fried zucchini.
Hey, we're still floating on the same boat. I'm addicted to those. The Greasy Spoon by my house makes them, and they're long sticks. They are so good, and they're professionally made. Like, I've tried so much at my house. My son made tempura vegetables, and I'm like, how did you do that? Like, I can't do that. And they tasted better than the restaurant. I'm like, how?
That's it. When we have our meetup, young Mr. Sewing is going to cater.
You know what though? I don't want to tell him he's a great cook. I don't want to tell him like he's like light years ahead, because it's ASD too. He sits down and he thinks about what he's doing, and so like he's spot on. He's light years ahead for someone his age. Your medication will be coming around with. Oh, that's what. Please help yourself. Oh, it's like Rod Stewart's house. Allegedly.
Thank you, Alibaba, for finding the name of that cookbook for those who want to augment their cake mixes. It's the Betty Crocker Jello Pudding Cookbook.
Do you know what's really funny? One day I'm gonna bust out my Betty Crocker book. I bet I have that recipe. I have the 1950s Betty Crocker book. It is in tatters. It's been passed down, and they were like, "All right, you're the last one left. Here, take it." But I have a real 1950s Betty Crocker cookbook. That's how well, that's how I figured out that my family delicacy was really a Campbell's soup recipe. I should have known. It takes like 9 cans of cream of celery, cream of chicken, all kinds of stuff. But see, that's the thing. I thought it was a family delicacy. One day I looked at the Betty Crocker cookbook. I'm like, I thought this was from the old country, man.
I have an old wooden box. I'm trying to back up. It's probably, I don't know, 2 feet 2x1 or something like that. And it's an old wooden crate from Jello pudding. I found it at Goodwill. I said, oh, I think I need that in my life. Alibaba has the Campbell's Soup cookbook as well. And a wooden recipe box. Nice.
Some of my favorite recipes come from that Campbell's Soup book.
Years ago, my mom got me a cookbook for Christmas, and it was already like 20 years old at that time. And it's The Vegetarian Epicure. And the recipes in there, amazing. They're so good. I highly recommend it. Even if you're not vegetarian. If you're not vegetarian, grill a steak and then make something from the cookbook. Rah, rah. Alibaba says that should be in that box. Jello put that out in First World War II era or after, I think. Oh, nice. One of my faves was the Julia Child's cookbook. Did you ever read the blog or watch? There was the blog that inspired the movie Jules and Julia, and then there's also a guy on YouTube. I'll have to look it up and put it in the link. And the Auntie Chef. He likes to try making a lot of Julia Child recipes, but he's chaos in the kitchen. Alibaba says, I used to watch her show in color, late 70s. Yes, I remember that. And Yan Can Cook and all of that.
So how low down should I take my serger thread? All the way down? One of the spools I just noticed is starting to show way more yellow than it's supposed to.
Well,
but I do serge all the time.
I think as long as you keep an eye on it, because there's no point wasting it.
Exactly, because I'm not gonna use it for anything else except for serger thread.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same, it doesn't hold up like other thread. So I should take it all the way down.
I mean, that's what I would do. Alibaba says, we had the best. Walk with Yan. Skid says, if Yan can cook, so can you.
I miss those old commercials where Jack LaLanne, George Foreman, people were really selling stuff back then.
I feel like YouTube has replaced that for me, because we used to have all these like I mean, there was PBS, but there used to be a lot of like documentary channels with actual documentaries on them, and then that all changed, and so everything became like a reality show or a competition or a which, like, no judgment if that's what you want to watch, but that, like, it wasn't really my cup of tea. And so YouTube has kind of filled that void, whatever. You can find documentaries on YouTube like you used to. There we go.
Oh, I obsessively watch documentaries on YouTube. I'm right there with you. There's all kinds. I've learned so much, even from the Timeline channel. Like, I've learned so much. But I like watching more like what's considered ancient history, because modern history, we're just repeating it, so I don't want to watch it when you're living it. I watch more ancient history. Like, I'm obsessed with the Greeks and the Romans, the Egyptians. I fall asleep to watching stuff about Egypt, Let me make There's
So
always. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Skit said that he saw Yan live.
Oh
That would be interesting. Well,
wow.
tell us about that.
If
And
you want to hop in, let me know. It's hectic nowadays, so I'm just running around.
yeah, come join us.
That's crazy.
And yes, Kilroy Alien shows. That's also something they have on there. I prefer my science fiction to be like, with a plot and storyline rather than
Okay. I'm not I'm not gonna go off about how Ancient Aliens is false, but all you have to do, and I'm not saying like, oh, it's easy to go to Egypt, but they had this whole show about how the obelisks were dropped off by aliens. On the back of any pyramid, you could see where they were cutting into the rock. You
and you can
because
see the mines that the obelisk came out of.
But there's there, at the Pyramid of Giza, there's a very, very famous unfinished obelisk, and it's a
Mhm.
big middle finger to the ancient alien people. And anyone who's ever taken a tour has seen it because they take you around the back and they're like, "Look, this is unfinished. This is the very soil it comes from."
Walk with Yan was CBC Canadian only, I think, and Pascal's Kitchen Express. I didn't see Pascal's Kitchen Express. I feel like I saw Walk with Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I had relatives in Canada, so I could have seen it up there. Um, I don't
Oh,
know
that's so
Pascal's though.
We've been talking about food all night. I'm craving like 9 different things now. We have been talking about food all night. I'm gonna have to Google if there's a Benihana's open at 10 o'clock at night. I'm kidding. We actually have a wannabe place like that right by my house. I guarantee they're probably still open. But I promised everyone I wouldn't take my son to bars. And after a certain time, it turns into a bar. And I'm kidding. I don't hang out at the Regal Beagle, but if I ever own an establishment, it will be named the Regal Beagle. And I'm going to hire someone named Larry to wear a suit and have the curly hair and everything. Well, you didn't watch Three's Cup. Now I have the wah 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 wah
I
wah
couldn't
wah.
remember where. I knew you were making a reference to something, but it wasn't connecting.
Come and knock on my door. There's a quarry with an obelisk as well. See, that's what I'm saying. It drives me crazy when people don't know about history. It's a pet peeve of mine. Keep having to tell the lady he got from the audience to help him. It's stir fry, not stare fry. English is my first language, and I can barely speak it, so I understand. Plausible deniability. I like that. You know why? It's because they do that show in front of you. But like I went on Isaiah's birthday, he ordered a bunch of stuff. I ordered sushi. They looked at me like, "You're not getting anything made in front of the guy." No. And I know sushi is consistent, and it was amazing. Now I'm craving sushi. Oh, that's so funny.
Oh wow, lots of wine. Oh no.
Don't thread on me. Skits, don't sue me when I start making t-shirts that say that. Like I always say, patent pending, patent pending.
Alibaba says, I like Time Team. I met Mick Aston long ago in 1978.
Oh, that's awesome.
You can watch episodes of Time Team on YouTube. Let's see. Martin Yankees came to my Bel Air when I was a kid, did a stir fry presentation.
Did I already do the both fronts? Wow. Power of the
Nice.
Surger.
Let's see. I think we're caught up now.
There was a guy from Italy who owned a place around here. I heard every day that he had a bunch of wine by mid-afternoon. That's awesome. And okay, when I say this was this man's real name. I know how to cook anything that's Italian because I learned from a man named Mark Guido.
Did you read?
What's that?
Did you read the whole comment? Kilroy's whole comment.
Yeah, it's getting handsy with everybody here. That reminded me of Mark.
Checking.
That reminded me of the guy I worked with.
Oh, I see.
He was like, it was so strange. He was so strange. Good guy though. He was so strange. Came out and talked to me when he was close in Germany. I found a Roman road. Wow. See, that's something I want to find. Like where I live, we really don't get historic stuff like that. I want to go to the East Coast. Like, have you ever seen the show Diggers? There was a show where these two men, they would go around and they would go to like famous sites. When they would find something, they were so enthused. It made me want to go where they were. And you know what? I don't care if that stuff was planted, if it was all for TV, but it was amazing. Now that I think about it, I think it might have been because they found a belt buckle with a bullet in it. But they went to actual battle sites, you know. Hooray for day drinking. Okay, this is another fight. In America, you would get fired. Let's just say, okay, if somebody treated my job like they did with a tea time in the UK or had a beer at lunch, you'd get fired. But in the UK, it's socially acceptable to have a beer at lunch. Or in France, it's socially acceptable. Cal State OSHA, you'd get canned at my job. Right, I saw that. They dig outside. Battlefield sites. I loved that show. They were so enthused. I was like, I don't care if this is real or not. I love these guys. They loved what they did so much. I miss shows like that. Diggers was awesome. Diggers was an amazing show. Let's see where we're at. Oh, wow. Sorry. I have to check things sometimes.
The scores?
Oh, gosh. No, the Los Angeles Kings are now losing 3-2 to the San Jose Sharks.
Uh-oh.
We went from the best team in the league to almost the second to worst, and I don't know why, because we have the same team. You know what? That's emotions. I'm taking a cookie break.
Cookie break. Now I want cookies. I do have some cookies in the freezer.
I'm going to try these adventurefuls or whatever they're called. I've never had them before, so this is going to be a live taste test on YouTube.
Wait, read us the description. Tell us all about the adventurefuls.
Indulgent brownie-inspired cookies with caramel-flavored cream and a hint of sea salt.
Oh, those ones.
And they're just telling you what these overpriced cookies do for the Girl Scouts. Cool. All right. I have been on this weird brownie thing lately, so we're going to find out live how good these are. Oh, man. It was like a scene out of a movie. I come walking up, and they were, there was someone I knew, but they were tapping their daughter. They're like, tell that man you have Girl Scout cookies. He'll make you rich. And I did. That's how they get you. They stand in front of the Safeway and they're like, excuse me, sir. It's like Tiny Tim. Well, they do real work in the UK, so they need a beer. What is this? You have no idea how true that is. On a golf cart while smoking a J. Oh, He had the bottle for lunch with his sandwich.
Alibaba says, I worked with a guy that would quit if he couldn't have his 750 mil bottle of red wine. Best bricklayer I have ever worked with. That's a skill. It looks easy. It's not. It's a skill. So we don't get to see you. We don't get the full reaction to this cookie.
I'm a loud chewer, so I'm trying to be polite. But these are fracking amazing. But caramel isn't good for asthmatics, but I'll take the hit.
If you start to swell up, we'll tell you to use your EpiPen. Maybe a precautionary antihistamine. See, we're losing a lot of those craftspeople, Alibaba. He was 82 at the time, too. Old and fast and perfect in his job.
Every skilled person at my job is over 50. They asked me the other day, they're like, what's the 10-year plan for your department? I was like, most of those people won't be here in 10 years. They won't want to work in 10 years for me. They'll be in their 70s, you know.
You need to hire some apprentices.
Yeah, sure. We get someone that shows up on Monday. You know what? We've all heard the speech. The what's it called? DWP is paying people to go to school. In my day, you had to beg. You had to know someone to get that job. You had to have a neighbor and a father who knew people to get that job, and now they're begging people to work there, which is crazy to me because that's $120,000, $130,000 a year. It's probably how I'll be. If COVID taught me anything, it's that if I'll retire, it'll kill me before my time. My pops used to always say that when he would be like, why would I retire? I'm just gonna sit in front of the TV. But he ended up sitting at a bar. Which is not good either.
No.
Actually, you know what? I will take a bit of a break. Just a quick one. I have been like weirdly sewing all day because I've been running around. I came back. I was in my kitchen. It was the rain has been so strange today.
I love the rain. Makes me happy.
Now I have blame it on the rain stuck in my head. Oh, those cookies were evil. Do you know Girl Scout cookies? That's worth it. It was worth it. You should have seen that young lady's face when she was like, it's hot, blah, 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 blah. And I gave her a $50 bill and she's like, and I didn't get change back, guys. Let's just put it that way. But my son, like, he's learned. He's like, I want a box of this and a box of this. He's learned. We don't share well. He learned from last year. You know what, though, with inflation, it's going to be interesting to see what they are next year because the price, aren't things supposed to go up like incrementally, like slowly?
Yeah, well, no comment.
Because I have to say, I think that's the most money I ever paid for Girl Scout cookies in my life, ever.
Have you bought that many at once in the past?
Yes. And I still haven't purchased from the people at my job yet because people come like, hey, my daughter's and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, throw me down for 2 boxes because I'm crazy. Just back this semi up to the Girl Scout factory and have them load up. No joke. A long time ago, my son had therapists. A long time ago, and I had a neighbor whose daughter, who's now like in college, but she was a Girl Scout, and a therapist bought a literal box of Thin Mints. When I say a box, I mean a like unit.
Wow.
That they honored him that year. They were like, "We love you,"
Wow.
but he bought like I don't know how many boxes are in a box, but it's more than 20. You have to
Maybe
really like Thin Mints.
maybe he gave them as Christmas gifts.
I think so. He was one of those people from the younger generation that gives me hope for the world. So he probably was. He was a good guy, and I will rarely say that about him. But he was an excellent human.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, he bought a whole unit. He did. I mean, he paid for it. The lady was shocked because she had to come back a couple days. She's like, "Are you serious?" And he paid
Wow.
for it, and she's like, "Okay, he is serious." Oh yeah. That's like me with grapes though. Like every year, like my certain neighbors are like, "Hey, I don't need grapes this year." Because I will show up with some beautiful Concords at your front door.
Do you take him into work?
Oh yeah. It's different though. Like my job will incorporate it with everything because we have a massive kitchen, you know. It's kind of a trade-off though, because the avocado trees that I planted, I don't know, 30 years ago are extremely fruitful. So,
Mm.
oh no, I have that song stuck in my head.
Yeah, it's been cycling through mine as well.
How about It Never Rains in Southern some Raphael Sadiq? It Never Rains in Southern California.
I don't think I know that one.
Oh, after this stream, I am gonna play that song for
All
you.
right. Sounds
It is such a good song. Are you a Raphael Sadiq fan?
yeah, I like Raphael Sadiq.
Tony, Tony, Tony.
Avocado trees. You know, that's the trouble with fruit trees. Like they make the best fruit. You know, tree ripened right there. But it's feast or famine. You know, the tree's not ready, or you have four gross of
Yes.
whatever it is.
Or like, I grew up with an apricot tree. Ask me what I don't eat.
Oh,
I can't stand apricots because, like, it's one thing when, like, as a fresh apricot, it's a different. The bugs love them. When they hit the ground and they hit the heat, it smells like hot mayonnaise. Apricots are gross, but I grew up around a place with massive apricot trees, so I'm not a fan.
I never had the mayonnaise issue, but there was an apricot tree at a house I was in and didn't know. And then once I went out there and I'm like, oh, apricots. And apricots from the tree are nothing like those dry, mealy things you get from the grocery store.
Not a fan.
Apricots from the tree, they're like apricot flavored peaches. Like they're
Yes.
so different and they're so good. They're so good.
I'm not a.
Because just
I think it's because I grew up around them, and it got so bad that my pops uprooted them
oh my goodness.
because the animals loved them. It was a mess.
Well, I mean, I guess you have to just make sure you keep it clean under the tree, but
Apples is the
oh,
same way too. If you let them just sit there, it turns into booze on the ground.
my favorite apple is the opal apple. They're
Ooh.
like miracle apples. They don't turn brown even when they're like so ripe they're almost dead. They still, taste good and have a nice texture. If you have room for a fourth apple tree and you don't have an opal apple,
Do
I
you
recommend.
know? I spent a half an hour watching a video yesterday about how they make square apples in Japan. I might get the mold and see what happens.
Oh goodness.
It's just putting a box at a certain point when they start growing. You put a box over it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of ingenious, if you ask me.
I can't grow an apple grow apples apparently, or
What's that?
I can't grow. Well, apple trees need a certain amount of cold, and
Oh,
California can't really. And then I guess opal apples definitely need the cold. We've inquired at the nursery, and they said, no opal apples for you.
I did not know that. You learn something new every day. Oh man, I'm gonna have to get a new mic stand, and I need a new chair. But I don't want to. I don't want to retire my giant chair because I like being able to lounge. Oh, they tied. Oh, it actually might be a good game.
You know what you could do? You could buy that church and set it up as the Church of Sewing. You could have your machines there. You could set up a nice sewing room. You could have your lounge chair, like the whole bit. We might be onto something here.
I do need room for my 300-pound massage chair that I refuse to get rid of. It's literally sitting back there because I refuse to get rid of it.
Alibaba says that the Japanese also grow square watermelons. I've seen they make all these like different square and different shaped fruits, and they're ridiculously costly because it's so involved to make sure you have the mold and put it on there at the right time, and you need a mold for every piece of fruit. And I need to put more food plants in my yard. Crazy money. Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was like, I don't know, I can't remember, but it was a lot. I was shocked. So we've made it to the end of the seam. There still seems to be thread on the serger. Alibaba did recommend earlier tying off a thread and running it through when you get close to the end.
I barely missed a pin.
Oh,
I mean, I was surprised I didn't hit that pin. That was a shock.
200 Canadian for a watermelon. Wow.
For like an everyday watermelon or like a special one?
The square ones.
Okay. For $200, you better drop it off at my house with an armed guard and it better shoot out gold. Have you ever had anything that expensive? Like, I've seen those videos on, and it's always truffles, but I've seen those videos like of the $1,000 pizza. Would you eat $1,000 pizza?
Not if I
Listen,
were paying for it. That just wouldn't be where I would choose to spend my money. That
it's
wouldn't
just,
appeal to me.
again, it goes back to my issues when people waste food. I have weird issues about that. But for a while, I unsubscribed to the channel, but they would go around eating the most expensive stuff in America. And I was like, this is kind of a waste, bro. Like find better things to do. Give me the $1,000. I'll give. So there'll be a sewing machine in every house. I'm kidding. A touch and sew, but I went truffle hunting in France. It's big money here too. I'm not saying they're like it's a cash crop, but still, like, it's just weird to me.
Have you read Peter Mail's A Year in Provence? And there's one, what's it called? I'll have to look it up. I'll put it in the chat.
No, I have not.
But it's a nonfiction of where he goes and tries like luxury goods and meals and things like that. Um, it's interesting. He talks about truffles and truffle hunting, and so that sounds really interesting, Alibaba. Tell us about your experience doing that. I'll have to. Oh, what is that one? Why can't I remember? Oh, here. Oops, sorry. Oh, but I think I've got that book in my nonfiction section, not in. Unless I put all my Peter. No, that one would have been in the other part. I'll look it up. I'll put it in the chat. Let's see. I was really lucky in Europe. Huh. Was this like, did you know somebody, Alibaba, or was this, like people go wine tasting, you can sign up to go truffle hunting, or, oh, I knew royal folk, rich, scholars, all sorts as a kid. Huh. Interesting. What kind of circles were you moving in as a 7 to 10-year-old that you're hanging out with royalty? That sounds like a story in and of itself. Let's see. So I'm looking up that book because, let's see. That was so sad when Peter Mayle died. Because you feel like you really know the people when you read their books, because he wasn't he did a lot of like autobiographical stuff. Peter Mayle books. Let's see. A Year in Provence was the first one I read. Let's see. Scrolling through fiction, nonfiction. Acquired Tastes. That's the one where he talks about various luxury items and experiences and things like that.
I'm not anti-extravagance. I just think in a time, we don't live in a post-scarcity world. There's a lot of help that society needs right now. So flexing your Ferrari or eating $1,000 pizza is just weird to me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't do I do weird flexes here and there, but I'm just saying it's weird when someone's willing to do that much for one event. I'm not that kind of I would rather invest in the future than like spend $1,000 for a pizza.
I think that it's worth it sometimes to spend money on experiences and enjoying something unusual. But I'm trying to think of like what sort of experience would be tied with $1,000 pizza that would make it worth it for me.
I recently had a conversation. Well, someone I know, they went to a place where I thought they said the pizza was $50. Each individual pizza was $50. And they went with 3, 4, 5, like 6 or 7 people, and it was like 4 adults and the rest were kids. And $50 a pizza. And they're like, mini ones. You can go get one for $5 at Little Caesars right now. I'm sure it's not the same quality, but Little Caesars is just as good to me. I'm not bougie. I'm just saying, like, I thought that person, and I told them to their face, I was like, that's a bit insane. But they want it's in Hollywood. They wanted the Hollywood experience. Am I just being judgmental?
Well, $50 is different than $1,000.
Okay, but like the pizza, I have a $40 pizza where I live close. Okay, the pizza where I live is $50, but I'm eating it for 2 or 3 days after. It's so humongous. is huge. And like for $50, I'm getting that plus a cheese calzone. And I'm so hungry tonight. Well, I don't know why I'm so hungry.
It's not a little individual serving at that price. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, they hook it up. And they give you cheesy garlic bread regardless of your order. They hook it up. So for $50, you're like getting rolled away like you're in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. To bring it all the way back to the beginning. It's like that here. It's the same price here where I live, but you get a ton of food for $50. That's different. And when the drivers come to my house, I tip them $20. There was one time this guy I went to high school with, his parents owned the place, and he pulled up to my house. He's like, dude, do you know people fight to come to your house? They fight for your tip because they know you're gonna tip $20. I said, man, y'all are consistent. He's like, no, you don't understand. Like, people are like, I'll do it. Made me laugh. It made me laugh. Nothing included, even delivery. 5 topping. Wow, they really limit our. It depends on what it is, but pizzas get pricey here. Oh, I'm incorporating all the old lining. I'm so ready for So Frugal, even though I might not do it this year.
Oh, I like that fabric.
Mr. Modella Man hooked it up, but it's a little thin, so I didn't know what to do. But this material is extremely thick. And so they go together like peas and carrots.
All right. Are you going to make this reversible?
You know what? That's a really good question. I have to. Well, I don't know if I made the arms a different color.
Oh.
The arms are blue.
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily clashing.
You're right. No, the second you said that, I was like, well, I'd still wear that coat. I would still wear that coat. That is a good point. That's not bad at all. I really like the material. I'm actually famous for that, for using really fancy material on the inside and using some Walmart material on the outside. I just like the way certain fabric feels or looks, and depending on how I want it, that's how I arrange it.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the feeling of this material. I'm probably going to go back to downtown and buy more. Modelo Man had like the roll, like each roll, it'll like the smaller rolls have 46 yards. And when I say smaller, they're huge. The black roll was so big. He was like, I'm going to need your help on this one. It was so we both had to pick it up. So I'm going to go back and get more. And because I'm Mr. Memory, I'm still working on him for the Santiago fabric. I've almost purchased all of it. Less than the price he originally quoted me. The math always works in my favor. And he's so like willy-nilly. When I went to Hobby Lobby, I told myself, I was like, William, this is not downtown Los Angeles. They're going to measure that material down to the micron. And the lady did. She was like, 1, 2. That manager popped out from the counter like a ghost. It was like a scary movie. I'm not kidding you. I turned around, no one was there. I put the bolt on the counter. I turned around, how may I help you? It was the same lady who prayed over me in Hobby Lobby.
What?
It was. You know what the funny thing was? Every person that works there talks to me. I know every single person that works in the fabric section. They weren't there that day. The manager walked up. I said, oh, I need 4 yards, please. She's like, okay, thank you. Crickets. And like, she was doing that weird thing, like that head nod of like, I don't know. Sometimes you shouldn't take that extra shot of espresso in the morning because you can't hide your emotions by noon because you're all hypoglycemic. You haven't had food all day. Oh, what time? Oh, it's wow. All right, I'll go a little bit longer. I'll go a little bit longer, but I feel like I'm gonna have to have a part 2 on this one. This was good though. This was a good live stream. I actually got to show off my JC Penney's sewing machine. It sounds like she was listening to the voices in her head. Do you know what? Do you know what voice is in my head right now? I keep breathing. I keep.
Did you figure out who does that song?
No.
I didn't look it up.
I've had a song stuck in my head for 2 days and I don't even know I only know the I keep breathing, I keep. It was either in the Goodwill, the grocery store, or somewhere that I frequent. I used to never listen to those songs, but my son is always like, "Do you hear that cringy song?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a banger. I remember when that came out." Especially easy rock. Like if you put on some Toad Wet Sprocket or like anything from the 90s, I'll fight you. Don't say anything. Blues Traveler, I will rock out in the middle of the grocery store. I'm like, oh no, the harmonica part's coming. Hold on. Hold on. That is my era. I said Blues Traveler unironically. Now I have
Everybody
that
really
song.
liked them back in the day.
They had their moment. They had their moment. And you know what? That guy can actually play though. I've seen him live.
Mm-mm.
He can actually play. So that's see, back in the day, you actually had to have talent. But that was pre-auto tune.
I told you about the time I was listening to some old Duran Duran, and I'm like, wait, what is it that's different about this? What is it? And then I'm like, oh, there's no auto tune.
Do you know I still see people driving around with their headlights off? I saw another one today.
Oh no.
I think I'm gonna make a quick video of every pair of Jankos I've ever made because my Janko videos are a success.
Oh yeah.
I might make like a 2 or 3 minute video of just because I've made quite a few pairs.
Mm-hmm. What did people think of the ones that you did the combination of Jenko and patches and stuff? Did they like those as much as I did?
Well, I get a lot of people watching my stuff and not commenting, and that's how I know the numbers are double what they used to.
I'm sorry. I probably my end, but that's how you know something used to.
Oh, I'm sorry. A lot of people I've got more views than comments. So that's how
Okay.
I know that people like it.
Okay.
It's the same way with my threading videos. Like my I'm still shocked. I'm gonna look that up real quick. I want to see how many views I have on that one video and talk about an empty room. There my original how to thread a tiny sewing machine video. Like I feel like part of me is like I should have tried harder on that video because it had let's see my so-called life how to thread 11,000 views.
Nice.
Really quickly, I want to show you this young plucky man that I used to know. Look how plucky this guy is. Look at that. All of that is
who's that fella?
That whole vest has changed. Look at the room though. Look how much room is in this. You can actually see my carpet.
You could do a cartwheel.
It does not look like that anymore. And I have even more speakers than that now. Oh, good times. I love going back and looking at these videos. 11,000 people. Oh, okay. So this, of all the crazy stories that I've told on YouTube, this machine, it's an Adler. It's a Bel Air Adler. This sat at the Ventura thrift store for over, I want to say 12, 13 years.
Wow.
They wanted $200 for it because it
What?
looks rare. I have it. It's on the other side. It's so trashed. I shouldn't even have paid $29 for it, and I did. That thing is so trashed. But they like over the years, I watched it over years and years. Totally different, Ollie. The room looks way different. But I for years, because I would go to Ventura like, once every like 6 months, and once I got really into sewing machines, I'd go all the time. I
Mhm.
was so shocked that thing was still there.
Wow.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That is the original sewing machine that's in my in my shipyards. That is the original inhabitants of the island of misfit sewing machines. And honestly, Ollie, it's a piece of junk. I've been working on it since I bought that. Let's see how old this video is. Exit full screen. That's from 2 years ago. It's probably 2.5, almost 3 years, because YouTube's weird with their times. I've been working on this the entire time. Oh, and this is when I bought the other vest that was tiny. Oh, buyer beware, as all. I had an Audio Technica lapel mic, and that was the greatest mic I ever had. And one day it just stopped working.
Oh.
I missed that. I didn't have to be loud. I could barely talk, and it wouldn't pick up anything around me except for my voice.
Hmm.
And every lapel microphone I've purchased since then was just terrible.
Hmm.
Those built-in cams, they're hard to work with. It has a click. I've given up. It has a weird click on it. I've been working on that for years. It has this really weird click, and I thought it was just the motor was bad or something, but I replaced the motor and it had the same click. So that machine is a wall hanger, but it sat there forever. That's the one Japanese clone I've never been able to fix. That's the one Japanese clone that has stumped me.
Let me my friend is messaging me. Let me tell him.
I was about to say you had
I'm like, it's like ding ding, I'm getting all these pop-ups.
You had a perplexed look on your face for a second. But yeah, that machine sat at that thrift store for 10 years, and I watched the price go down. And even for what I paid for it, I should not have paid the $30 for it.
Oh dear.
But you live and you learn, I should have known the moment that I walked up and it wouldn't turn over. Or if it starts making weird clicking noises, it's drama. I forgot about that machine. That thing is on the top of a rollaway, hidden.
It's unfortunate that you can't figure out what sorry.
I have plans. I actually have plans for stuff like that when I do eventually get a bigger space, because my mind's to it, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to set a corner with all my toolboxes, and I have a workbench.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just bring out all the ones that don't work. And it's not as many as you think, but it's probably, for someone who owns sewing machines, it's a few. It's a few that do not work. And some of it, like my brother, I have a brother that only sews in reverse. I've watched a video about how to fix it. I thought I fixed it. It started sewing. I thought I had, and it's like an awesome brother sewing machine. It's a modern one. I started sewing with it. It started sewing backwards only again.
Oh no.
When it's coming towards you, there's something wrong.
Was this like a chip issue, or what's
what's so funny? The guy was just like, take it apart, click this, and this, and it worked. And then something happened and it started going in reverse again. I think the guy's name is Brooklyn Sewing Machine Repair or something. But the second you find him, you'll know, because he's from Brooklyn and he has that very distinct accent. but he's a knowledgeable guy. He's a knowledgeable guy. And I just, I follow so many people that like, if you have sewing content, if you have 30 seconds of something I'm interested in, I'm like, subscribe. So I'm subscribed to every sewing machine repair guy,
I had a linguistics professor from Brooklyn. His
Oh,
accent
wow.
came in very handy as we discussed things.
I actually, did we lose? Oh, we lost. How did we become the worst team in the league?
I'm sorry.
It must be the smog in the air or something. I don't know. Yeah, totally. The LA Kings went from first to worst within a month.
Oh, good heavens. Excuse me. Can't talk now. Come to the stream and see. There we
I
go.
can't remember
Maybe that'll solve it. What was that?
Oh, sorry. I can't remember his name, but for Alibaba, you're probably right. And he like I like not like I'm from the West Coast. I'm all fluff, but I like no nonsense people.
Mm.
And he's a very much like, how'd you mess up your machine?
Oh no.
Let me show you. I'm gonna shame you. I'm gonna shame you, and then I'm gonna fix it.
Hello.
How's it going?
This is my friend Josh, everybody.
Nice to meet you. Awesome.
Oh, you enjoy. Give me big head.
But yeah, I like that guy. He's no nonsense. He's no joke, Sometimes like hello. Like with my Husqvarna. Someone needs to tell me, like, bro, next time you try to adjust this, don't do it. Don't do it.
What have you done? Were you sewing over pins again?
You know what? I got a little over ambitious. I fixed the timing on every single sewing machine in this room, and I did something to my Husqvarna.
Hello, I'm Waternay here.
All sewn up. Yay! Hello. So, what else? There's all kinds of machines. There's all kinds of machines. That just need a little bit of love,
That's true.
And I don't want to take over my job.
You don't want to take over your job?
Because I could easily show up with like, I'm just gonna put 60 machines over here and take this place over. And I'm gonna, I promised my predecessor that I wouldn't buy a Ferrari or turn it into anything crazy, so it's still a machine shop in there.
Oh goodness. I find it interesting that you had to make that promise to your predecessor when your predecessor was stashing things all over the place.
And technically spent could have bought a Ferrari for the amount of money that he spent. Yeah. Which that reminds me, I drove past my neighbor yesterday. He literally has a newer Ferrari. I think he gets one every 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a jet. And everyone else around here is driving like they're like looking at their car like you're junky compared to a freaking Ferrari, Now,
do you think that he's leasing them? And
I saw him smoking in one, the new one. Can you smoke in a leased car? Don't they have like stipulate? I'm gonna say something really bougie, and I apologize. I've owned almost every car that I've ever had. So once you own it, you could like drive it off a cliff. If you're willing to take responsibility for it, So I do not know the ins and outs of leasing. But if I was gonna lease someone something, I would not let them smoke in my vehicle.
I mean, maybe you just have to like pay an extra cleaning fee, or I don't know.
That is true. That is very true. it's just it's just very weird to me.
If you could get any car, money's no object, what would you get?
I would something stupid like a bat car or a DeLorean. Not even like it wouldn't be anything like it wouldn't be a Bentley. It would be something from a movie I saw.
Yeah.
Or like vanilla like um I'm more of a chopper motorcycle kind of guy, but I want Vanilla Ice's Ninja from the movie Cool as Ice from 100 years ago. I would rock the Adam West bat car. I would rock the Michael Keaton bat car. The the newer one is kind of gaudy to me.
I haven't seen the newest. I'm behind in the Batman.
The Christian Bale ones were good. I'm not a fan of Ben Affleck. Not a fan.
I'm just having a hard time wrapping my head around that. But I haven't seen it. So maybe I'd watch it and say, "Oh, where has he been this whole time?"
You know what? He's just one of those people that moves to LA and walks around with bodyguards. So the locals are like, move back to wherever you came from. Why are you? I'm just trying to get Starbucks and I'm getting shoved around by a bodyguard. Especially when he started dating J-Lo. Are you forgetting the Val Kilmer Batman? But didn't they have the same car though? Gosh, that was such a good car. But then if I get that, like part of me, I've told the story, like they're affordable because it's a Dodge. The Michael Keaton one's a Dodge. But then I will officially be Drew Carey. Did you ever watch the Drew Carey show?
It's I'm not really a big sitcom person. So if it's a sitcom, generally speaking, I've seen like episode here, episode there kind of situation.
I have a few neighbors that own Model Ts. My town still has 4th of July parades. So like all the motorcycles, all the old timey cars come out,
That would be nice to see.
In the finest Batman film ever to be released, dominated by the timeless Douglas. Oh God, not that song!
I love
It's
that
there.
song.
It's there. I forgot about that song. Do you know what's funny? I probably have that on VHS somewhere in here. I love the acting. Like I love that era. I saw a video on how to drive Model T. It looks like too much of a pain in the neck to drive. You would hate my tractor. The Ford tractor has 16 gears on it. And the first 5 are just to get to the the 6th gear.
I have a friend who has a Model T. I should ask him to take me for a drive.
There was this father that obviously lived near the MMA class, but this guy came in this really souped up golf cart. And that's got to be really cool until it's cold at night. Until you're like, get me off this stupid thing. Like, it's all fun and games until you don't live in Arizona. Guy next to Grandpa places 300 plus radios from a Ford A. Wow. I'm
shadow.
Oh, Mimi. That show was awesome. I loved that show. But in the show, Drew Carey, in his weirdness, bought a bad car. And part of me, like I live a very awkward life like that, like the Drew Carey show. And so part of me is like, don't buy a bad car. They'll just make it even more awkward. Don't buy a bad car. Don't buy a bad car.
Embrace the nerdiness. Get a bat car if that's what you want.
I haven't seen an Indian motorcycle in over 30 years. Do you know what's really funny? I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud. I'll probably never buy a Harley again, but advertisement works. I might buy an Indian. I've been looking at they've been sending me deals. They're begging me to buy one.
What about the electric Harley? You know you want one.
I don't have a religion, but it's against my religion. I told you I was driving and I looked and I'm like, is that a motorcycle? And it was pretty. It was chrome. It was pretty, but it was electric. And I'm like, that's blasphemous somewhere. If I can't hear you coming half a mile away, you're sitting on it. You're not riding it. You're sitting on it. And there's a difference.
They should give it the little, like, the future tech little ray gun sound, you know, the little.
Teslas trip me out. No, Teslas sound like TIE fighters. That woo. Teslas trip me out. They have a sci-fi noise. They do. Those Indians do look nice. It kind of, and I know they won't break down.
Ooh, fighting words.
True. Every Saturday morning, I'm driving around and I can always tell the rookie Harley owners because they're on the side of the road with their cell phone. I'm like, oh, crud. All leathered out, looking all scary with their cell phone. I'm stuck on blah, blah, blah. I'm stuck on the freeway like every Saturday with the weather's nice. I meant those old pre-1958. Do you know, I watch videos of people that do rides on those. On the old Indian motorcycles. And there's this guy, you may or may not know him. His name's Jason Momoa. Harley, actually. To be famous, Harley made him an ambassador, and he gets paid to drive around on old Harleys from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Wow.
And he goes on these extravagant trips, and I'm watching the whole video like, just it pays to be rich and famous. They gave him an ambassadorship, and they gave him all the bikes.
Maybe you could do that with sewing machines.
I'll take it. Are you kidding me? I would love to be a singer ambassador. Are you kidding me? I would absolutely love to be a singer ambassador. I watch their videos, and every time they have a new video, I don't even have the machine, and I'll watch it, and I sit there, and I'm like, how did you become a singer ambassador? Because they're on the singer website, you know, and a lot of them do not have YouTube channels. Just want to had that BDE. You could ride a bike without training wheels and still peel off. Do you know what it is? It's it's a lot. It's a biker thing, but Jason Momoa is an industry plant. He's an industry plant to bring a modern parlance of the modern times. He's an industry plant. Do you know what's so funny? As somebody who lives in a house full of plants, I laugh every time someone's like, he's a plant. I'm like picturing someone wearing a ghillie suit or like I am a plant human. I love plants. You should have actually the sign of being a grown adult is being able to keep houseplants alive.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. I'm struggling. I'm trying. There's the ones I have now, they seem to be okay. We won't talk about the orchid.
Even my money tree needs help. Even my money tree needs a lot of help. Now that I think about it, I should go water that thing just talking about it. Like 6 months ago, someone walked to my house and they're like, oh, you have living plants? This makes me feel bad about myself. But I go out of my way. Like even what's it called? I had a plant that was dying. I just cut it, put it in a pot of water. The roots are already coming down and growing.
I did that with a piece of my plant that broke off when I was trying to dust it. I put a little fertilizer in the water and then all the roots started sprouting out. So now I have a plant and then I have its clone in another pot.
Oh, that's like little D. I had a cactus that I got at a party. It was this big and now it's literally Well, I got it like 14, 15 years ago, but like I have a friend who's a hippie and she was giving plants as parting gifts at her party. I still send her pictures. She's like, holy cow, it's gonna be a huge cactus. If he's a plant, I'm all about the stem. Not saying he's gross. I'm just saying he's a plant. I'd hang out with the guy. He looks like fun, you know. Still a shrub. The jade plant money tree will toot off a broken stem. That's good to know.
Then
That's
you'll have more
really
money.
I
You can buy a bat car and an expensive pizza.
make basil from the clippings.
Oh, I was so confused for a second. I thought you were talking about making basil from the money tree. And I'm like, wait, no, that's not how that works. Okay, I'm on the right page now.
The only tree William is interested in is a money tree. Well, I am a cat. I am like for all my tree hugging, something's got to pay for it. So I am a capitalist at heart. But I stopped to water my plants. I think that's what it is that I remember to do things. And so like I just wake up every day and water my plants, you know. Because really that's what it is. It's just the consistency of keeping them. I loved that saying when people were like, hey, human beings are like trees, drink water and get some sunlight. It's true. It's so true.
I had a cat managed to keep alive, but I haven't been as successful with my plants. Oh, you all right there?
Yeah, I get caught up every once in a while.
It's those cookies you were eating. They're getting to you right here.
Oh, they're so bad for you. Well, they're good, but they're bad for your thighs. I might as well. Can I just tape the boxes to my side of my pants and just be done with it, or what?
Sometimes that's how it feels.
No, seriously. I'm not that age. I used to always joke when people would be like, oh, I look at food and gain weight. And I would be like, ha ha, that's not real. No, that's real. No, that is real. We've been going for 3 hours. I'm gonna finish this off stream. I'll have another after party video. My knee's twitching, so I'll be up tonight. But because I start an hour late, I thank everyone who stays with me who lives, you know, east of the Mississippi. Mountain time people, you're only an hour ahead. I think no, mountain's 2 hours, isn't it?
No, I think mountain is 1 and then central and then east.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Progesterone made me put on 20 pounds. I do not blame anybody for just looking at food and gaining. Hey, that's no joke. No, that stuff is no joke. That's another thing. Like, because of my lung issues, I take that like once a year. I gain weight every time I take it. Every time. Because I'm just like rah, eating everything. With a McChicken in each hand to go full circle. Oh, now I'm craving those gross things. I will be back at it on Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. I would buy a bat car if they just would like. The one I want is a Dodge, and they're just like a crummy engine.
Can you swap it out with something else?
Yeah, but then you might as well have just bought a new car because you're spending all that money, you know. Time zones are a liberal conspiracy. Absolutely.
I did see a video that was recommending that we all just have one time and then we just live our lives according to when it's, you know, daylight and whatnot in our particular area, but that we just have one time zone to make it easier to sort of communicate.
The real Batmobile is an Olds 85. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And don't bring the cookies on next time. I I know I am a temptress. I just absolutely have a sweet tooth. So I go from sugar cookies to Girl Scout cookies. I eat brownies. And the funny thing is I didn't eat like this 10, 15 years ago. I did not have a sweet tooth.
Mm.
I'll be back at it on Wednesday. I might do a power hour, but we'll see what happens. I hope everybody has a great evening. Thank you so much. I settled for Rice Krispies. Oh, those are so good. I lived in Alaska, and times means nothing in Alaska. Yeah. The more north you go, absolutely. That's what I discovered, like, the more north I went. I'll be back at it on Wednesday. I hope everybody has a great evening. And like I always say, reinforce your seams, be yourself. See you on Wednesday. And I will definitely see you next time. Bye.